Because we've got this time and I have two new books released, I just came back from a trip to Chicago where I was sharing things about these two new books. One was called Pheromones, and the other one, everybody bought my copies off me, so you can only see it by this picture on this. For deciding to write a poem every day of the year for my New Year's resolution, you start searching for things to write about, like, hey, is there any sort of holiday going on today? So, with so many things, I had over 200 pages in the first half of the year alone. It was suggested to me to release it, so every event of the year, Volume 1, January through June, was released, and I will have 4 poems that I will share with you that I just read in a feature in Dripping Springs to a Thursday night. And they're right here, so I thought I'd share them with you for different days. And you can gather when I say the holidays when they were written. This one is called Valentine's Day, Every Day. Once you traded my snow-soaked socks through sandals for your dry pair as we climbed one of the Alps. I know there was snow, but I wanted to do this for you. And after we approached a 30-foot wide pit, I had said, stop. I couldn't do it. But during our return, construction crews came and tore up our path. And this is when you picked me up and started carrying me over what my sandals couldn't navigate. Because yes, I want to do things for you, but I think it's abundantly clear that you want to do things for me, too. And I may be the first to say that selfishness is a virtue, but I want you to understand, I want to do things for you because seeing you happy makes me happy. How selfish of me, wanting to see my love happy. So what do I need a Hallmark holiday for in the first place? What do I need conversation hearts or flowers or chocolates? In fact, after knowing you for less than 3 weeks one Valentine's Day, you brought me a map because you knew I traveled. And your coworker laughed at you, thought you were a fool. But you even remembered that when you gave me that map, I asked you if it was okay if I kept it wrapped up in its tube until we could frame it in our office. You remembered that I said this to you after knowing you for less than 3 weeks. So as I said, what do I need an economic gift-giving holiday for every day? You show me you love me every day. And since the beginning, I have loved you every day. Not just Valentine's Day, every day. And he has to applaud. This one.
She's reading, but you were the star.
This one, I am not from here, but when it was Texas Independence Day, I had to write this piece. I hope I do it justice. This is called Each Trigger Pull. Once I got to the gun range today, I saw that the rifle range was closed and learned that a real estate company was considering buying the land just past the range. So they got an injunction, a court order, to stop the gun range from firing guns toward the extended land. I'm not sure if they actually found any expended bullets or casings out there. And as far as I know, no one has bought the land yet. So now they just sit and wait. The way the Republic of Texas waited 9 years to be a part of the United States of America after claiming their independence on March 2nd, which happens to also be the birthday of Sam Houston, who led Texans to victory over Mexico in the Battle of San Jacinto, which may be a reason these Texans here seem to have a stronger attachment to their guns than a lot of other states, because they know far too well from their own history how vital it was to embrace these firearms to preserve their lives. That may be something other states in this nation have forgotten. We can turn a blind eye to violence and think that it'll never touch us, when it is probably lurking just around the corner and no one knows it. As I sit here in one of the bays at this gun range now, I now wear protective eyeglasses and ear mufflers, ear gear with enough power to protect my ears and with enough pressure to actually crush my skull. Watching the smoke from every shot rise from the gun in front of me, I can still hear the 9mm pistol and rifle shots fired in our bay and the AR-15 shots fired in the bay next door. Each trigger pull releases a thunderous boom, and it almost reminds me of fireworks here on Texas Independence Day. The noise is something that seems so strong, but really, like fireworks, it's something that reminds me of celebration, and only of celebrating. Simply put, I try.
You're new to Texas, so we have camps all over the hill country for children, and we send our little girls to girls camps for anywhere from a week to 6 weeks at a time, and they learn to shoot at camp.
In Illinois, they don't have camps to teach girls to shoot. That doesn't happen.
That doesn't
happen in Illinois.
Where I grew up, we had a rifle range in the basement of our grade school, our junior high school.
Where was that?
Pennsylvania.
So,
Actually, in Waukegan, just north of Chicago, in Illinois, they have an indoor rifle range in their juniors.
Yeah, you have to worry about those Canadians up there.
not that close. Yeah, we really have to be careful. You wonder, and we were just driving, and we were driving across country, and there were garter boards, or border guards, and John's like, "What do you border?" He's like,
up
Ohio. North for Canada. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're in Ohio. That's a concern.
70 miles of Ohio and Lake Erie.
Well, I was crossing over from Detroit to Windsor. And we had flown in, and the limo from the casino over in Windsor came and picked us up. And so we wait in that long line, and we get up to the guard, and they're like, "What's your business here?" It's like, we're in a limo that has the casino name on the back. They're smuggling us in. What?
They're smuggling us in to leave money behind.
Smuggling us in to leave money
It was
behind.
so weird. They just acted very suspicious. They kept asking us questions.
Oh, Frank, a friend of mine, Frank, does wet plate photography.
Wet
plate photography. That's like one of the original types of photography that was done back in the 19th century. And what you have to do whenever you do wet plate photography is you apply the silver solution to the glass, and it's still wet. You do it immediately inside of you put a hood over you when you do the camera, and you go
and what is
you put the layer on there, and then you slide that in there. And then you expose it, your photo, and then you pull it out, and while you're still in the hood, what you have to do is you have to pour a solution of potassium cyanide over it.
And you're inhaling that? And you're inhaling that?
You're in a hood,
And you're in a
and you pour the solution, and then what you do is you rinse it. In the dark, you have to grab your bottle of ethanol and rinse it with ethanol. And then you grab your bottle of acid.
And then you're like sweating.
You grab your bottle of acid and you pour it over. Now, if you do that in the wrong order, you pour the acid over before you pour the ethanol on there, you've now turned your hood into a gas chamber because now you release the cyanide into the air. As long as it's in solution, it's not going to harm you. Anyways, he was driving through New York City, or state of New York, and he got screwed up, and he ended up going toward the U.S.-Canadian border. And in his trunk, he had several liters of liquid potassium cyanide, acid, and ethanol.
No ropes.
And he actually drove, and he drove there, and when he got there, he just did a U-turn, because he didn't want to go through there. And they said, no, you have to go through. So he went through, and he turns around, and he comes back, and they never found the stuff in his trunk. They opened the trunk and looked at it. Never saw it in there, and never asked him about it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. It's like, that makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
Warm and fuzzy. That gives me warm and fuzzy. Well, I'm going to do two
And
little
they
short
nailed us
warm
with
and
an extra
fuzzy.
bottle of whiskey.
Well, I'm going to try to make us feel a little better with two short fuzzy poems before
Warm
I
and fuzzy
go over. I
poems?
hope you found something
I did.
groovy. This is a poem that is called Quilled for Poets. It was probably some Poetry of the Creative Mind Day, and I don't have the day written down, but there you have it. So that was why this was written. What metaphor should I adhere to? Should I pen metered rhyming sonnets with a quill to share at the town square? Should I wallow in liquor as I pen the ills of our generation for no one who will listen? Should I look over at my cat, arching her back and posing for me because she wants more attention, more than poets? At the end of the day, the night is still long, and I cannot decide what options to embrace. So I sit here, contemplating metering out my grievances on a printed page, until I pause, look out the window, and watch the world go by. Unnecessary.
They're doing my golf claps.
The golfer clap, thank you. And I'll end with this one, which was written for Tangible Karma Day, which actually falls on the first Tangible Karma, which actually falls on the first Saturday in April. As I said, you go searching for things when you write something every day.
And every once in a while, when the moon is in the right position, it's the same day as April Fool's.
Oh yeah, we won't talk about what I came up with for April Fools. Well, there are a lot of other holidays in the same day too, so anyway, this is called Karma and Lollipops. When we were about to check out of our hotel this weekend, a woman at the registry stopped us, handed us two embossed bunny lollipops, and said, "Happy Easter!" Even though Easter was weeks away, I thanked her and we went to a breakfast. While he got coffee and I got orange juice and yogurt, he then pointed out the mom seated with two little boys eating. I looked at the lollipops still in my hand, walked over to them and asked if it was okay to give her boys these two lollipops. She smiled and said yes, to these plastic-wrapped lollipops, but since I thought breakfast might not be the best time for candy, I gave them to the mother, those lollipops, and then I got the last of my food with my luggage before we got on the road again. If people get high and mighty with their phrases, "do unto others as you would have others do unto you," or "you reap what you sow," or "what goes around comes around," or even "paying it forward." But these random acts of kindness, this tangible karma, all pretty much amounts to the same basic truth. What you do, the energy you put out into the world, will come back to you. And the added bonus for tangible karma is that doing good things for someone else, it makes you feel good too. But if karma is true and good things come to you because of the good you do, then these insignificant acts of kindness are tangible proof, evidence for exactly what you can do. Because the nice thing with karma is that all that goodness will always come back to you. We have to learn to be nice to each other, that's what I keep saying. You know, and I think they're celebrating Woodstock here tomorrow, where everybody's all about peace and love. And I will attempt to espouse that.
Taking LSD.
I don't think they're espousing that for this library.
Medicinal marijuana.
You would have to talk to the fine, wonderful people here at Recycle the Reads who will allow us to have this space. But for some reason, I don't think that they'd be like, yeah, let's toke up. It's, I get the feeling that they'd say no.